able to see and adapt to, especially in a fast growing world, is to recognize where we get love from, where we get joy from, and what gives us life. And the reason why this is important is because when we get these three things right, we become one, effective human beings for ourselves. And if we can love ourselves enough, and if we can exercise self-joy, and if we can appreciate our lives, it's easy for us to give the same to others. Whether it's in your business, whether it's in your career, or whether it's in your life. So what is leadership? The way I define leadership is the ability to take that which is given to you and move it forward. I'll read that again. Leadership is the ability to take that which is given to you and move it forward. And leadership must be quantifiable. And the reason why it's important for us to quantify leadership and to move things forward, it's so that we can look back and say, that's the impact that this leadership created. There are so many times we've seen people come into leadership positions and we've looked back and said, what did that person achieve? We can look back and say that person didn't achieve anything, and it's okay for us to have an opinion. But what's very much important is the opinion that that person has on their leadership themselves. So then the question I'm going to ask you is, what is self-leadership? Because that's what we're talking about today. Today we are here to talk about you, to talk about your leadership within yourself. We're not here to talk about your leadership as a manager. We're not here to talk about your leadership as your CEO, as a CEO, or a leadership as a parent, or a leadership as a husband, as a wife, as a brother, a sister. It's about you. Today is about self-leadership. Today, it's about the ability for you to take your whole being and move it forward. So basically what we've done now is we have redefined leadership as being the ability to take something and move it forward. That is the definition we use when we are quantifying someone's position. So you've been put into a managerial position in a new company. We want to be able to see you move the company's numbers, for example, or culture from step A to step Z, so we can quantify it. With self-leadership, it's the same. We want to be able to take ourselves, our whole being, from where we are here today, or from where we've come from, forward. So I want you to take this time to reflect back on the last 5 years. How have you moved yourself forward? Or the better question is, have you moved yourself forward? And if you have, can we quantify it? Can we say John was unemployed, he got an idea, he built a business, this is what he's doing and this is where he is now? Or Cynthia was overweight, she changed her ways of eating, she lives a more healthier lifestyle, and now she's more healthy. Now we're trying to quantify, we're moving things forward. Peter was very self-centered in the way he approached his friendships. He recognized that, and now he's done a lot of work in self-development and he's a better friend. Self-leadership. Aspects of this may include traits like self-love, self-discipline, self-respect, self-worthiness, self-care, self-happiness, but most importantly, your purpose. Do you know what your purpose is in life? Do you know what your purpose is in this life that has been given to you? The reason why we want to dig into purpose is the why. And if we ask ourselves the question, for those of you who are employed or running your own businesses, is why are you doing the business that you're doing today? Or why are you in the job that you are in today? Or why are you in the relationship that you are in today? We dig deep into your purpose. And the reason why I've taken a holistic approach in the way that I teach leadership, or when I do consultations for organizations to help them do selection for their leadership crew, is when you put someone in a leadership position who doesn't know why they're getting into that position, it's dangerous. Because it's one of those things where someone is coming into a position of leadership and saying, "Oh, I've been promoted because I'm qualified for this job." No, wrong answer. Why are you doing this job? So the question I'm asking you today, for those of you that are employed, is why are you doing the job you are doing today? And for those of you who are entrepreneurs or aspiring to be entrepreneurs, the question is, why do you want to do the business that you are aspiring to do? Why? What is your why? What is your purpose? So in my latest book, and in the introduction, we spoke about my latest book, which is currently on Amazon. I cover topics relating to self-leadership, and I dive deep into how to become an effective and happy leader in your business, career, and life. So it talks about the 10 steps of becoming the leader you are born to be. So in every step that we have covered in the book, it dives down into your purpose, because the title of the book is The Purposeful Leader. It helps you identify why you are where you are, why you are doing what you're doing, and why you want to do what you want to do. And the reason why purpose is very important for us to align with leadership, it's because it creates a platform within ourselves to serve people that we have been given to serve in a way that we need to save them, because we know the reason why we're doing what we're doing. It's high time we started turning some jobs down because they are not aligned to your purpose. So the question I'll be asking you now is, do you know what your purpose is in life? Do you know what purpose is in life? I'll give you an example for myself. The moment I discovered what my purpose was in life, which is to use my voice to amplify and to encourage others to know their why by using my voice, my writing skills, and turning literature into action, I became a more happy and more effective and more sought after leadership. Because every time I would approach a project or a contract, I am doing it wholeheartedly. I became very effective at what I was doing because that's what I wanted to do. I knew this is what I'm born to do, and this is what I'm good at. And the one way you can start looking into what your purpose is channel into your God-given gifts and talents. We have all been blessed and given talents and gifts. So the other question I'm asking you, and write this down, is, are you using any of your God-given gifts and talents in your job today? Are you using any of your God-given gifts and talents in your career today? Or are you using any of your God-given gifts and talents in your business today? The reason why it's important for us to use those gifts, they were given to us, number one, for a reason. Number two, it comes naturally to us. So which means automatically we are the best at what we do. Now, can you imagine waking up every morning knowing why you are doing what you're doing and using your God-given gifts and talents to do that? So the reason of the question I'll be asking you is that, why aren't we succeeding? Why aren't we succeeding in doing what we know that this is what we have been blessed to do? This is what we have been given at birth that this is our gift, this is our talent, this is what we need to do. When we were youths, we were driven. Some of you are still youths, which is good. I think I'm still a youth. Very driven, very passionate, and we're finding a lot of young people, and I'm so passionate about the number of young people we have in Africa, because we have the youngest population in the world with the median age of 19.5 years old. We have the youngest population in the world, hence why we are finding a lot of the big corporations are so excited to bring business to Africa, business that is in telecoms, business that's in innovation, because they know the potential that this disruption is going to create. So very important, we need to look at, we've got so many young people in our nations, in our countries, and we were young ones. Some of us are still young. We need to be able to utilize some of that passion, some of that zeal into action. For those of us that went to school, education taught us, it gave us a roadmap to get to the next step, but it did not give us everything, but very important. But one thing that I want you to reflect on and to take today is, I want to inspire people. I want someone to look at me and say, because of you, I did not give up. Can you identify something within your life today, within your work today, within your business, that is inspiring people to look at you and want to keep going and not want to give up? Because one thing that we need to remember is, every time we decide to do something, it doesn't matter whether it's to take on a new challenge, a new project, a new job, a new business, or just to wake up every morning to go out in the world and create some energy, we are putting something in the world. So the question that I always ask people is, what is it that you have done this week, this month, this year, that you can look at, that if people looked at you, they can say, I felt inspired by what you did? Branding. Branding is very important. Brand yourselves. It doesn't matter where you are in life. There's a very common saying within our culture where people refer to and say, oh, when I get a job, when I get a business, when I become rich, that's when I'll do A, B, and C. No, you are already rich. Your words should be words of richness. Your words should be manifesting that this is me, this is where I'm destined to go. So it doesn't matter where you are in life right now, start branding yourself. Identify who you are, because if I ask you the question, who are you? Don't give me the answer, I'm Cynthia. No. Who are you? I'm the CEO. No, wrong answer. Who are you? Or I'm the manager of the oil corporation. Who are you? No, I am the education minister. No, wrong answer. I want to know who you are. When people ask me who I am the global purpose leader, because that is what I'm destined to do. So ask yourself this question, who are you? The moment you find the answer, start branding yourself and start working on it. The other things that I've touched on in my book is how to reinvent yourself. One thing that COVID-19, the global pandemic, has taught us is adaptation, how we need to be able to adapt. And part of that adaptation is we need to be able to reinvent ourselves. If before the global pandemic, we were doing something that now can't be done, we should easily be able to adjust and adapt to the new norm. So for example, if your business before was only reliant on customers coming to you, now we are adapting to the online world. It's something we have to do for survival. It's the same thing for us when it comes to self-leadership. Self-leadership, that's why it has to be quantifiable. That's why you can't stay the same. You can't say, I'm an accountant, this is what I'm good at, this is the only thing I'm going to do. No, God did not create us. And I'm hoping I'm speaking to people that believe in a higher being, whoever that is. You were not created on this earth to have a full stop after your name or after your title. We were created so we can have a comma. My name is Cynthia Wright, comma, global purpose leader, comma, author, comma, organizational strategy, comma, the same thing for you. So don't allow people to put a full stop where you're supposed to have a comma. You are not just a mom. You are not just a husband. You are not just a manager. You are not just a CEO. You can be much more other things if you allow yourself to succeed. So give yourself permission to succeed. Give yourself permission to reinvent yourself, because you can be whoever you were destined to be. Purpose. We've spoken about purpose. And the question I've asked is your business, is your career, is your life aligned with your purpose? For those of you who don't know your purpose yet, this is something that we have created a workbook, which we finished working on, and is going to be available end of this month, which is all to do with finding your purpose. Because we received a lot of feedback from the book where people, some of our readers said, it's fantastic, but I want to really find out what my purpose in life is so that I can channel my energy into the things that I'm destined to do. So we've put together a 15-page workbook that is just focused on finding your purpose. And the link I'm going to share after this, when you go in, you'll be able to see how you can pre-order that workbook or register for when it becomes available. It's an e-workbook, so you'll be able to download it. Now, putting it in action. A lot of people will talk about self-leadership, purpose. It all sounds fantastic, but then we need to dive deep into how do we then put all this in practice. So if you're running a business, a career, or it's about your life, you want to get your life right, you want to lead yourself within your life. Sometimes it's hard for us to lead ourselves. We need to know how we can put this into action. So again, in the book, we have discussed how to put this into action. It's also going to be available for you, the slides. So now I want to talk about your vision. What is your vision for your life? What is your vision for your self-leadership? What is your vision for becoming the most effective leader, the most sought after leader within your space? So whether your space is engineering, innovation, or wherever your space is, what is your vision for that? Or whether it's just your life. The reason why I've put power of 10 or think 7 generations is, every time you think about your vision for yourself or for your business or for your idea, we always need to be able to think, we need to create 10 people within my space who can think the way I think, so they can pass it on. And when we are innovating anything, whether it's an idea or it's a good deed, we always need to think about 7 generations forward. 7 generations after me, can they look back and say, Cynthia did a great deed. Cynthia was a great leader. This is what she did. We look back today and we've got great names like Martin Luther King. We've got Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi. Several generations after, we can look back at their leadership and say, wow, they led well in this area. So the question I have for you today with your vision is, how big is your vision? Because your vision should always be big enough for you to think 7 generations forward. Your vision should always be big enough for you to say, we need to create 10 people to take this vision forward, the power of 10. We need to create 10 Lupita Nyong'os in Africa. We need to create 10 Chimamandas in Africa. We need to be able to create 10 Oprahs. Why not? The vision is big enough for us to look and say, this is great. Let's create 10 more people who can take this forward. So I need you to be able to trust yourself enough within the vision that you have right now, whether you've revealed it to yourself or not, whether it's something that you talk about or not, whether it's just sitting in your head or your heart, or whether you've written it down somewhere. You need to trust the next chapter in your life because you know the author. You are the only author of the next chapter in your life. So what you decide to do with your vision is up to you. But remember, create the power of 10 and think 7 generations forward. Empower people. Remember what I said at the beginning, we all have our God-given gifts and talents. Chances are there's no other person out there, not even chances are, the fact is there's no other person out there with the same gift and talent as you. They can be similar, they can be named the same, but the impact at which you can take it, you are the only one who can determine that. And the moment you decide to step out and use that purpose, use your God-given gifts and talents, start empowering immediately. So we can create the power of 10. We can create 7 generations forward. But most importantly, and this is something that I see a lot in Africa, in comparison to the West, is that we don't use the power of collaboration. Collaboration is important. And the reason why collaboration is important, I'll give you an analogy that one of my clients earlier on in my aged care work gave me. They said, look, you've got 2 hands, 2 hands. If you decide to go at anything alone, you are limited because you only have 2 hands. But if I decide to go at it with John and Peter and Mary, we automatically have 2 times 3. So now we have more hands. In fact, we actually have 8 hands because 2, 4, 6, 8. So with our 8 hands, we can achieve more. And what that means in terms of profit, in terms of dollar signs and money or naira, it means we make more profit too. So every time you try and go at something alone because you feel like you can't work with others because you want to be the mastermind behind it, you are limiting your income. Always think that way. It's not about the recognition. It's not about people saying, oh, he created that, he invented that. Even the great inventors had to get help along the way. This is something I want you to employ in your everyday. Diversify, work with others, collaborate, diversify. Diversity comes in so many different shapes and sizes. I've had the privilege of working with some great teams, people from Asia, Africa, Europe, you name it, everywhere. And people of different age groups as well. People in their 60s, baby boomers, to Gen X's, Gen Y's. And the beauty about it is you don't only get the diversity in terms of the differences in the people, you get diversity of thought. And diversity of thought is valuable because everyone is bringing an idea to the table that you wouldn't have had if you did not include them. So make sure you diversify. And after you finish doing that, give back. Always give back. It doesn't matter how small, it doesn't matter how big. Self-leadership is about giving back. It can be giving your time to mentor someone. It can be giving equipment. It can be giving anything. But always remember that you have a duty of care as a leader to give back, or as a human being to give back. Our purpose in life is to help others. And if we can't help them, let's not hurt them. So give back. Very important. And then if there's nothing you have received today that is resonating with you right now, the one word I want you to keep in your head and your heart is resilience, 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 resilience. It is not easy being a leader or leading self. It's not easy, even leading others. You have to be resilient. You have to be resilient. You can't give up. It's a competitive world. It's a judgmental world. It's not a fair world. It's a fast-changing world, but you need to be resilient within yourself, because only you can take the impact of your vision, your purpose, your gifts and talents forward to as many places, as many people as possible, because it's your gift. It's no one else's gift. Newsflash, 2021 is in less than 3 months. Believe it or not, 2020 is finished. So don't let anyone waste your time. So if you've got people in your life, friends, sometimes family, that you feel like they're just weighing you down in discovering your purpose and what you need to do in life, sometimes we have to sieve that. And it's okay. It's okay sometimes, because I can assure you right now, the road to success and the road to good leadership is a lonely place, because not everyone is going to understand that which you're destined to do and that which you are going to do. But remember, it's the same people that will come and appreciate and pat you on the back and say, great job, you did well. So don't let anyone waste your time. And if they can't lift you, then they can't drop you. So stop worrying about what people will say, what people are going to think. Some people said, I remember when I first started channeling more into my work, some people said I had changed. Some people said I was not cool anymore to hang out with, because all I wanted to do was to talk about bigger visions and purpose. And people will say that, and it's okay. But one thing I realized, and I became very famous for this saying in South Africa last year when I was there for the Female Wave of Change global conference, was for this saying to say, if they can't lift you, then they can't drop you. So don't worry about what people say or what people will think. Step into your power, because it's the same people that will come and want to sit next to you. So it brings us back to where we started. Where do you find your love? Where do you find your joy? And where do you find your life? So once we identify where our love is within ourselves, where our joy is, and where our life is, it helps us to channel into what gives us purpose, what makes us wake up in the morning to go and do the things that we are doing, that we love to do. But very importantly, self-leadership starts with you. That's why it's self-leadership. So identify where you get your love from, where you get your joy from, and where you get your life from, so you can become an effective leader, a sought-after leader, and a leader that will lead others with love, with joy, and with life. So what's your story? How are you changing your narrative, and how are you leading yourself? So again, remember, our book is on Amazon, and this presentation as well is available for you to have free of charge. I'm going to add the link now to just under in our charts, so that you guys can have the link to get the presentation. Because remember, I did mention that I wanted you guys to pay attention. Let's have a look. New share. No, I don't want new share. Okay. Not a problem. All right. I'm just going to grab that link for you so you can grab that presentation free of charge. And then we'll go into questions. If you've got any questions. So Babatunde, over to you at this stage. Let me just grab that link and share it. And then you can take over. Okay.
Hello.
All right. Recording. Okay. All right.
Yes. Hello, Cynthia Wright.
Hello, how are you? All right, I'm just sharing.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sorry to cut you.
Okay.
I have just shared the link.
Okay, it's okay.
For those of you listening, yeah.
Great. Okay, on the WhatsApp, on the chat. Okay.
Yeah, just under chart. But I think the host will also share the link in Telegram.
Okay. Thank you so much, Cynthia Wright. My name is Dele Idris. I'm
Nice to
your
meet you.
host. But today, yes, nice to meet you too. But today, actually stood in for me because I had some issues. So I apologize for joining late. I think I tried to learn your language a little bit before joining this. I should say Mulishani. Mulishani. I hope I'm correct. Great, great. Fantastic.
You're doing well.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for the presentation. I think I love the part of the economics, the economist that you shared the front page, you know, and
okay, yeah, the Economist. Yeah.
Yes, and when I saw that part, I really felt bad, and at the same time, I felt encouraged that I know that we have talents and people that are destined to be great, just like the names you mentioned, the operas, the Mandelas, and the great visionists of Africa. And I think it's spurring me to do more, and also likes of you. So I think I have few people that have raised up their hands here. I have one person raised up his hand. Just a minute. I saw one hand that was raised shortly. I think it's Adele Waliu. Adele Waliu, you have something to say? Adele Waliu. No? Okay, if you can actually, if you have issues with network, you can actually type in the chat side so we can actually see the question better, because I know that we might have network issues because of the weather.
Okay.
In Lagos, Nigeria right now, it's actually raining heavily.
Okay.
And we have some network issues. So there might be some. So as I was saying, I was looking at the economics magazine front page, and it made me to think, why would the editor actually think about Africa in such way? And it got me thinking, the way we project ourselves, especially when you look at the foreign tabloids, the way Africa is being projected, the recordings we see are recordings of slums within Africa, recordings of slums, recordings of the low income areas, the villages. So I begin to wonder, why are these images being the one that are projected? And it got me thinking, Maslow's triangle, in terms of what are the needs of a man. And I keep thinking, now the basic need of a man, which is food, is what a lot of people are still engaged about. And I go to the highest peak, which is the social, that feeling, that fulfillment, sense of fulfillment, which is the highest peak. You have the sense of fulfillment. So I begin to think, how can an average African actually that lacuna, that gap between you just thinking about what to eat and you just getting fulfilled? How do we bridge that gap?
Mm-hmm.
How do we bridge that gap? An average African, what do you think?
I like how you put it, and I'm going to throw it back to the audience. How do we describe an average African? If there's such a thing as an average African, who's an average African? Is it someone who's got a job or a small business, or someone who doesn't have anything? Or how are we describing an average African? Because you find that when we talk about the social fulfillment, the top peak, you find that there's a lot of people with money that are not there yet. But we assume that a lot of people with money and with food and with resources are here, and that there's a gap. And the reason why I think it's like that in Africa as opposed to the West, because we see it a lot here, and I'm glad I can see a colleague of mine is on here, and she works in mental health, and she would be able to tell you that a lot of the mental health issues, or people that have got mental health problems or illnesses, sometimes we find the majority are the people with the money. So social fulfillment does not necessarily put you up here. Sometimes you find that someone who you might describe as being average, who's just thinking about food, might be so fulfilled socially, mentally, and within themselves that the only worry is just food. So then, when it comes to bridging the gap, I think the gap we might be referring to is the gap between the haves and the have-nots. In terms of bridging that gap in Africa, I think it's a job that we all must participate and look at what is it right now within our continent that can bridge the gap. And the answer to that, to be honest, from me, it's entrepreneurship. There are no jobs that are going to come and bridge the gap. People with the haves are not don't have enough to give the people with the have-nots, because the people that we are referring to as the average African, what we need to be able to give them are sustainable solutions that are going to be able to help them not to worry about their next meal tonight or tomorrow. So the question would be, what are those sustainable solutions that we can give them? And looking at the population of Africa and the way it's growing rapidly, we need to grab our resources back, and we also need to channel into how we can empower people to become their own leaders, their own business people. And I know there's an issue with capital. Where do we get the capital to start a business? And those are some of the things that we need to look at. We need to collaborate with people in diaspora like ourselves. Africa, we've got 140 million Africans in diaspora. And every year we are sending almost the same amount of money within remittances to Africa. The money is there. We need to be able to see how we can channel some of those funds to help these people we're calling as average Africans to start sustainable businesses that are going to give them their next meal for tomorrow. That's the only way they're going to survive. Because we don't have enough industries. We have more universities than industries in Africa. Overeducated average Africans, I think. A lot of people are educated, but there's no jobs. There's just no jobs. So we need to build businesses.
Yes. I saw a publication.
Yeah.
I saw a publication. It was on Fox News. It was actually on Fox News. And on Fox News, they were doing the analysis of immigrants that are the most educated in America. And I saw they mentioned African countries. Nigeria, in fact, Nigeria was one of the top African countries that are most educated. And juxtaposing it with even the Americans that are not, that are educated, the gap is so wide. So I'm thinking, if there is so much brain drain, and we have a lot of blacks that are actually developing the third world countries. For instance,
Yes.
one of the best aerospace companies in America is owned by a South African.
Mm.
In fact, they just launched a rocket into the space just recently. That
That's good.
even the United States president was invited into his company. He is one of the billionaires and he's a South African. Now we have a lot of these people actually developing. So I begin to wonder. Now coming
Yes.
back here, these same people, if they are invited into the African context, they've actually done a lot for themselves out of Africa. They come back to Africa. Now, why are they not able to make the same level of impact positively in Africa? That is a big question
Well,
for me. I don't know what you think about that.
this- I can answer that straight up. Too much red tape. There's too much red tape. I can give you an example. It's easier for me personally to set up a business here in Australia and to go to a bank, show them my business plan, and get a loan for my business from a business plan. And they will give me a loan and an overdraft account for me to start my business. That can be done in a space of a week. But whereas if I come to Africa, I pack up my bags and say, I'm coming to Zambia and I'm going to do the same, it's not going to happen. First of all, registering an entity, and just to register an entity with all the legalities, we just recently did that in Zambia. It took us 3 months. 3 months just to register an entity. So that's why I'm saying there's so much red tape in terms of our in the way that our systems and our services are structured. And I think there's a reason why they are structured that way. I feel really disappointed in myself to say this, but I have to say it because I know you guys online are going to understand it, is if you don't accelerate your registration of anything that you want to do, and when I say accelerate, I mean if you don't find someone to accelerate that for you, it can sit on someone's desk up to 4 to 5 months. But it shouldn't be the case. It should not be the case. So then again, it goes back to leadership and governance, because that is part of governance. So you look at our ministries and say, what is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs doing about it? What is the Ministry of Finance doing about it? Because there is a lot of money that can be channeled into Africa that is not, that's from the diaspora, that is not being channeled into Africa because of the red tape. There's too much red tape. So right now, the only way for us to do business in Africa is to collaborate with people like yourselves who are on the ground. Where we go, you know what, let's have a meeting. And this is what COVID has taught us, to say, I can run a business in Zambia while I'm here by working with someone based in Zambia. So these are some of the things now we are looking into, to say, let's collaborate with people on ground, because they understand the systems, they're there on ground, they can go and check on applications every day. But it's a long shot. Not everyone has the patience to work like that. But those are some of the things that we need to fix. The red tape.
Now, I know that there are some African countries that are trying to breach that barrier of a red tape. At least I know of Rwanda.
Yes.
I know of Rwanda. I know that in Rwanda right now, you can register your business in less than a day, which wasn't there before. And I know that's why Rwanda is one of the fast rising countries in Africa right now. I know that. However, if you look at the ratio of countries that are actually doing so much to attract so much investment, and you look at those that are actually chasing away investors, it is still not balanced. And you begin to think, now, for instance, Nigeria is the most populous Black African country in the world. Now, and you come back and you see some of the leaders that are supposed to be like examples, shining examples to the youths. They come here. I meet some of them when I travel out. And when you travel out and you meet some of them in the developed countries, for instance, don't let us talk too far. At the airport, just at the airport.
Okay. Yes.
Now, even if you have never been to any European country before, or any North American country, or if never been to out of Africa before, once you land at the airport of any developed countries, someone that was unruly in his own country automatically aligns. But immediately he gets back to his own home country, there is this feeling that there is unruliness, there is indiscipline. So there is this mentality that we need a paradigm shift from. And I think it needs to start from ourselves, individuals, because before we used to talk about leadership. Leadership is not about those in government. Leadership is about individual. You as a person, how are you able to impact your immediate society, starting from your own home? So it's more about looking inwards now, because like you see somebody that on a normal day is in his house, he will increase the volume of his radio set, disturbing his neighbors, goes to another environment, he sees that there is serenity in this place, and he finds it difficult to do that thing which he does in his own country naturally. He's not being told. So that tells me that each and every one of us has a role to play in leadership and impacting his community. So I think this is what we need to preach. Then another thing I'm looking at is now in the context of career, we have people that have just graduated from the universities or the polytechnics. A lot of the school curriculum doesn't have leadership in it. So how would you encourage fresh graduates today, both from all the high institutions? How would you, what advice do you have for them? Because a lot of our fresh graduates, they seem so confused. Why? Because what they see around them is not really encouraging. Now, for instance, I've spent 5 years in school, hard labor, reading, burning the midnight candle, and I graduate from school. Now, what I see that is the society is encouraging is Big Brother Africa. If they don't encourage Big Brother Africa, you see an artist that is from the ghetto. He's making millions of naira. He's even invited to corporate functions to come and entertain the corporate world. So these are the things that you see today. So for youths that are looking at life from that angle and getting really discouraged because they feel that, after all, someone that didn't go to school is now talking with the president, is now talking with the MD of an organization. So what do youths need to do to remove that mindset?
I think it's very important for us to recognize that our education systems in Africa are designed for our candidates and our graduates to go and become employees. The syllabus, and it has been for a long time, and it's only now that I'm starting to hear about that they are putting in certain other aspects in the syllabus that are going to make people become a little bit more innovative. But I think it's still a long way for us to get there. To be honest with you, I don't see, and I love the fact that Nigeria has built an industry in entertainment that is actually creating jobs, because America has done the same, and it's a big enough industry where people can actually, even you've got now colleges that specifically just will educate people to become entertainers, and it's okay. So I feel like we need to encourage our youths to be malleable enough to look at any situation where someone has used their talents and their gifts to create a business for themselves and start earning money from it. It's okay. The reason why they feel discouraged is because the education system doesn't tell us that. It tells us you need to pass your exams, you need to go to university and college and become a doctor and a lawyer, and then you become a respectable person. But the real world out there doesn't work like that. You find that musicians will employ those lawyers who've been burning candles at midnight to be their lawyers, someone who didn't go to school, and it's okay. That person has used their gifts and talents to create something. And that self-leadership aspect that you touched on is spot on. And that's what we need. And that's what this session was all about. It's about leading self. It's about not looking at what's ahead of us or what's leading us right now and saying, they're not doing a good job or they can do better. It's about how can we within ourselves lead ourselves enough so that we can become better leaders for others and for ourselves and create a better world for the rest of others. And that's why you're finding more and more young people in the West. I don't know about Africa. I haven't been reading a lot of literature about it. Over here in the West, a lot of young people now a lot of them will not decide to go and work for organizations that don't have impact. They'll go and join an organization and say, and leave the job 5 days later because that organization does not have social impact or positive impact on the world. They're not doing anything about climate change, so I'm not going to work there. They've got that, they're so aware when they come out of school, when they come out of university, that they can pick and choose to work for organizations that are creating a better world, to work for leaders that have got values that align with their values. And that's what we need in Africa. But like I said, it's something that is going to happen. It might not happen in my lifetime, in your lifetime, but it's something that we all have a personal social responsibility to fix. And we should be talking to schools and pushing them to be teaching leadership, self-leadership, so that when our young people graduate, they can choose what type of a leader they want to be, as opposed to what they are seeing on the news. But well done on Nigeria for creating that entertainment industry, because you know what? It has somehow put Africa, not even somehow, it has put Africa on the map to say that, wow, there are some talented Africans out there. When you turn on Netflix now, it's full of Nollywood movies, which is amazing. You go, oh, now I can see Black people. So the children we're raising here, we feel good about it because they can watch Black people in the West performing and acting just like white people.
Yes.
It's a good,
Yes.
It's got its positives. It's got its positives.
Thank Zikomo. I hope I got it.
You did.
Zikomo.
Officially Zambian.
I see. One of your colleagues, Seppo, wanted to ask a question.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. Seppo, you have the floor. You can ask a question. I know he raised the hand, so you can ask a question, Seppo. I've asked you to.
Hello. Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm not on camera because I'm already in my pajamas.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a bit late.
All right. It's late here.
Yeah,
yes.
I just wanted to make a contribution about, you said the new graduates who are graduating. What can we encourage them to do? I remember having an expatriate from West Africa.
Sorry, Seppo. Are you calling from Zambia?
Sorry?
Are you calling from Zambia or you're calling from Australia?
Yeah, but I'm Zambian.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So I was saying I had an expatriate lecturer when I was doing wood machining, and he taught me technical drawing. And each and every time he would encourage us to go where there's competition. He would say, Seppo, don't look for a job in smaller towns. Go to the capital cities where you'll receive a lot of competition and you'll be able to learn more. So I took that and I've used that throughout my career and throughout my life as well. So I always encourage, even with the new students who are about to graduate, once they graduate, they have to go where there are bigger hospitals or where there are bigger towns where they can compete and learn. So
good.
it's about learning, and it's about, finding, I think, innovation as well, and the competition as well is really good. So we just have to encourage our young ones and the new graduates as well to go, not to be afraid of competing and not to be afraid of being thrown in the deep end as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Zekomo.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sepo.
Now, she said something. She talked about she was learning wood machining, and that makes me think she's more of a technical person, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
So
She's very
and
diverse, Sepo.
she's female also. She's female also.
Yes,
Now
that's true.
it now brings me to a question. What is the problem with females and diversity in terms of technical diversity in Africa? Why? There's a, there's a big lacuna in terms of females, diversity, and technical entrepreneurs. What do you have to say about that?
I think it's very small, but I think it's got potential to grow. And I'll just I'll take us back to the point I made earlier about our visions and creating the power of 10 and 7 generations forward. I saw this in South Africa last year, where they actually have the South African Council of Women in Construction. And the government has championed to give almost 30% of all construction contracts to women. So it's something that a lot of governments are recognizing, but I feel like the women that are in technical businesses or technical careers, I think we need to be able to encourage them to share more about those experiences and those businesses, because the more we tell some positive stories of success, the more that other women will get encouraged to do more. Because a lot of our parents, again, we have a cultural battle, because a lot of our parents who are baby boomers, they never grew up with women being entrepreneurs in technical or having careers in technical industries. So you'll find that with their girl childs, they'll encourage them more to go and do softer skills or more other sort of skills or careers like medicine or being a lawyer, because those are some of the things that they grew up with. Whereas us now, we are seeing that, okay, a woman can run a construction company and hire engineers who are men to work for her. It's happening now. So those are the stories we need to publish. I just feel like we need to become like The Economist and start putting some of those stories on our front page, where we feature women in those technical areas to share those stories, so we can be empowering our young women in Africa. That there's more to life than just looking good. You can look good in a technical field.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. As you were mentioning that, as we were mentioning that in terms of women, Get Job is actually having some programs trying to encourage ladies, especially young ladies,
Yes.
to try and take up entrepreneurship roles. We have a session, and I'd love you to be part of that session. Let me just share my screen so that you see the session.
Okay.
We are. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, you can see this session. You can see that
I like the title.
Yes,
This title though.
Yes, I really want to be part of this session. It's on 17th. Okay. And
yes.
The MD is a friend. She actually studied mechanical engineering in school, and she's into upholstery. She's one of the foremost upholsters in Nigeria. And what we are doing is that we're trying to get ladies, very young ladies, to come up and join the furniture industry, because we don't really have a lot of ladies in the industry. So that's one of the things that we're trying to do here in conjunction with Get Jobs. So I'll actually get you. I'll get in touch with you after the session, and I'll love you. And I actually chose this topic. You know why I chose this topic?
Why? Now, this topic. It's
the
home.
truth is this. No, seriously, it's down to earth. It's down to earth. Now, ladies come out a lot, and what they have in their mind is, like you said, I want to look good. Now, and the next thing, when you don't have the resources in looking good, the first thing you ask anybody is, I want you to buy me a human hair. I want you to buy me eyelashes. I want you to buy me this. And you do not have one single skill. So how do you want to survive? So that is why
I think I think the women on this call will say that they've got that skill. That woman who's asking for human hair and eyelashes, she's got a skill of asking. It's a skill.
Well, it's a skill anyway. It's a skill. I agree. It's a skill. I agree. So that's why, that's why we are bringing this kind of session to Get Jobs. And it's it's interesting. We have your kind of person here, so that a lot of females will be really encouraged. So like I said, I was supposed to join earlier. There was a mix-up. Today actually stood in for me, but this is me. I founded Get Jobs. My name is Bamidele Idris, and we are currently over 22,000 on the group, on the Telegram group. And thank God we're recording this, so we can actually show all our members. And it's, as we're talking now, we're live on Facebook. So I could actually, we're live on Facebook. So I could actually send you the link so that you see. So your link, I'll actually share your link with all our members, and also with all in our social media platforms. So definitely we'll be able to reach across. And I'm actually interested in that, your book. It looks juicy. So I'm actually interested in that, your book. Yes, I'm actually interested. So I see that only Seppo actually asked. Only Seppo actually asked a question.
I've received a few private messages as well that people have sent privately, which is fine. I can respond to them. That's okay. It's fine.
So you can respond. You want to respond here, or you want to respond to them privately, so that other people can learn?
I'm not sure whether, I don't know why they sent them privately, whether they wanted a private response.
Okay, maybe it's
so for example, Kolapo Bankole sent a message.
Okay.
And Daniel as well. I think Daniel, it was more a contribution.
Okay.
If you guys are happy for me to read these out, I can.
You can read it out. Yes.
Okay. I'll start with Daniel's contribution, because I think it's very important. He said, it is very sudden that mostly we have Africans that think education can solve all the problems without human investment and innovative thinking. Our policies in Africa are not giving room for development. And also selfishness is our daily meals in Africa, where the olds believe they know it all, and dropping the youth who have all the technical and technology know-how and can think critically. So it was more a contribution, which I think it's a fair opinion. I think there's some good things in there. But I think one thing that we might need to look at, again in Africa, I think, which we do very well, and we're getting to a point where I think we've nailed it here in the West, is how we can get the young and the old, not the old and the more experienced or the elderly, to work together. So we call that intergenerational intergenerational skills or interaction or exchange of knowledge. So some of the things that we have done there is in some of the big corporations where you find a lot of the GMs and the managers are almost the same age. They're all baby boomer ages, and their board is full of the same age group. We try and get in and strategize and advise that they bring in some youths, because it's very important to have that mixture. And I spoke about diversity of thought. So with diversity, you're looking at age, you're looking at male, female, you're looking at the thought diversity, very important, and even people with disabilities, to include them as well. So those are some of the things that we are doing here, which has taken a long time, and we're still working on it to get it right in some of the big organizations to be more inclusive in that intergenerational mix, because you find that the people who've lived more years than us have got a lot of experience. And for us young people, we are more dynamic in our thinking, and we can think on our feet critically. We like to do things quicker, and we're good with technology. We bring skills together, knowledge together, we mix them, and we can create something out of it. So instead of us working separately, we need to find a way of working together. Cool. So those are some of the things we can look at. Intergenerational exchange of knowledge. Cool.
So it's 1:31 p.m. from the city of Lagos, Nigeria. And what time is it over there?
It's 20:31, so 8:31 p.m. So we're almost 21 hours. So it's night time.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So I have to release you so that you have to go rest. So it's 1:31 p.m. and I see that there are no questions here. It's a wet day afternoon in Lagos, and our facilitator Cynthia Wright, thank you so much, Zikomo, for your presentation. And I know some people will want to make reference to your slides. So if there's any way you can get your slides across to us, so our members can still have access to it, we'll appreciate that. Yes. So
so I've shared the link. I've shared the link in the chat, where people can actually go and grab the slides for free. Yeah, it's in chat.
Okay,
or did I just respond privately to that? I think I need to type everyone. On host only, everyone publicly. Let's see if that works.
Yes, you sent it to everyone.
Did I? Yeah, okay.
Yes, you sent it to everyone.
Oh, yeah, I sent it to everyone.
Everyone can see it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right.
Yes,
so
yes, you sent it to everyone.
You can share it on Telegram as well.
Yes. So consider me your #1 fan now.
Thank you. I'll see you on LinkedIn.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. It's been a pleasure hosting you. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so very much, Seppo. Thank you so very much. Even though we did not see your face, it's so okay. No problem. We'd love to get in touch with you. And thank you to our wonderful participants that joined us. God bless you all, and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much. Good night.
Bye.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Cynthia.